We are practical men and women whose solutions are dictated by the actual conditions existing in our country.
Can you build a profitable online business in Africa? Is there a big enough market to share? Is the African average user connection worth your investment? These are a few of the many questions investors, business professionals, and even entrepreneurs ask themselves every day, either within or outside the continent of Africa. Hello and welcome to Icon Insights, a show we've put together to help you start and grow a successful online business. Our topic today is somewhat of an overview of the state of the internet in Africa. We focus on three key points in the West, East, and South, those being Nigeria, Kenya, and South Africa. Oh, by the way, why is it us Southern Africans and the far North that we seem to have some sort of a disconnect? I'm talking about countries like Tunisia, Libya, Morocco, Mauritania, Algeria, for example. I can bet there are fellow Southern African who'd say it's in the Middle East. And Mauritania, come on, tell me where it is without looking in the map. Okay, not including Egypt, of course, because we like to claim the heritage of the pyramids. Oh, no. Egypt is in Africa. All in. We own the pharaohs, that's for sure. Okay, what's this got to do with the internet in Africa? Nothing. I digress. I never do.
Are you tired of having a website that just looks good but doesn't offer much functionality? At Iconeer, we believe that a website should not only look good, but it should also offer a great user experience. Here are a few examples of the features we can add to your website to make it more useful to you and its visitors. Online client bookings, online product catalog, online client database, online contact forms, client accounts and profiles, interactive calendars and schedules, payment gateway integration, online client support tools, and finally, integrating social media channels. These are just to mention a few. At Iconeer, our team of expert web developers is dedicated to providing you with the best possible web design and development services. Get in touch with Iconeer's web development department today and finally get a website that is actually useful.
Alright, back to the matter at hand, the state of the internet in Africa.
We'll be looking at the following key issues: internet connectivity and usage by everyday users, important internet developments in each country, each country's contribution to the World Wide Web, and finally, a look at some social media stats.
Let's look first on the internet connectivity and usage by everyday users in these three African key points. In South Africa, things have been really good compared to our neighbors. South Africa has a generally good infrastructure compared to our brothers and sisters in the north. Yes, I can hear some South Africans screaming, "What do you mean? Have you seen the number of potholes on our roads?" This good infrastructure anyway sees South Africa leading the internet connectivity race.
As of 2022, the South African population stood at 60.4 million souls, with 41.2 million of those connected to the internet. That works out to 68.7% of the population connected to the internet. This qualifies South Africa's internet penetration rate as one of the highest on the African continent, and I must say, a great potential for an online business model. Not only are South Africans a connected lot, but 2022 stats show that at least 40.6 million of these internet users are healthily partaking in social media activities. Of these 40.6 million social media junkies, 24.2 million of them sing to Mr. Zuckerberg's fine tune, Facebook. And in 2022, 50.7% of these Facebook users were female, while 49.3% were male.
Kenya, on the other hand, is not lagging far back with internet connectivity as compared to her neighbors in the region. I think this is owed to two facts. Kenya has for ages been one of the most loved African countries, ever since and after the shooting of Out of Africa, the movie, to hosting the first UN headquarters in Africa. The second reason for the bubbling internet connectivity is probably because Kenyans themselves are easily the most internet-savvy lot you'll ever come across in this dusty continent. The capital, Nairobi, holds several tech hubs and houses several juggernauts such as IBM, Google, and Microsoft in its backyard.
In a country with at least 53 million people, there were 17.8 million internet users in Kenya as of January 2023. That means Kenya's internet penetration rate stood at 32.7% of the total population at the start of that year, 2023. In all of this 17.8 million Kenyans connected to the internet, there were at least 10.5 million connections to social media. And get this, of these 10.5 million social media junkies, 9.5 million of them are on Facebook, with 44.3% being female and 55.7% being male. Not to say there are none on other social media channels, but let's just admit that there's quite a lot of them on Facebook. Although its penetration rate is a bit below Nigeria and South Africa, Kenya is running to win this race. Now, let's move to our western front. In a country with more than 2 times the population of South Africa and Kenya combined, standing at 221.2 million people in 2022, Nigeria's internet penetration rate stood at 55.4% of the total population at the start of 2023. Although this percentage rate is lower than the 68.7% in South Africa, it's important to understand that at least 122 million Nigerians, more than twice the population of South Africa, are connected to the internet. In January 2023, there were 31.6 million social media users in Nigeria, with 21.8 million of these happily tuned onto Facebook. As in most places, the stats are stacked against women, with 41.3% of Facebook audience being female and 58.7% male. The number of lonely 50, 60, and 70-year-olds from Sydney to California, from Benoni to Birmingham, who have lost millions to the famous Nigerian prince is staggering. And to think the Nigerian prince is just a scruffy 35-year-old bloke sitting in a Lagos internet cafe, spinning his stories to win the hearts and life savings of many Westerners.
On the other hand, there are true pioneers, positively disrupting and changing the whole West African retail landscape with online giants like Jumia and Konga. To their credit, Nigerians don't hold back on anything, from having churches on every street corner to being the biggest online African Goliaths. Now, let's discuss some of the important developments in each country in the internet space.
The first internet connection was established in the late 1980s. And in 1991, Rhodes University led the way with a first global connections amongst universities and other similar institutions.
Funny, I remember the first time I came across the internet. My first interaction with the internet was in 1998 when I learned you could actually print pictures and lyrics from far away across the globe. I printed Casey and Jojo pictures and lyrics. I was mind blown, just like I am, quite honestly, with ChatGPT at the moment. What was your first experience with the internet? Anyway, back to South Africa making inroads. The country has since played a significant role in the development of the internet in Africa. South Africa is home to one of the largest internet exchange points in Africa, the Johannesburg Internet Exchange. Kind of sounds like the JSE, which serves as a hub for the internet traffic in the region. Moving up east.
The internet first became available in Kenya sometime in 1993, and full internet access was established in 1995. An NGO based in Nairobi became the first provider of web-based internet services and the first commercial ISP.
In 2009, Kenya launched its first fiber optic backbone infrastructure, which helped to improve internet connectivity and access across the country. Eons and eons of years ago, when I first visited Kenya, I was quite taken aback, with awe of course, when I found out how internet savvy Kenyans are. Even then, they seemed quite comfortable already with the Yahoos and the Hotmails of that era, happily chatting away with their cousins and friends in the diaspora. Now, moving over to our Western operations, Nigeria's internet development started a bit later than its two sisters in the late 90s, but the country has since made significant progress. In 2013, the Nigerian Communications Commission launched the first national broadband plan, which aimed to increase broadband penetration up to 30% by 2018. Now, let's discuss each country's contribution to the World Wide Web. In South Africa, the country is home to several successful e-commerce platforms such as Takealot and Spree, for example. These platforms have played a significant role in the growth of the e-commerce industry in South Africa and has helped to increase the country's online presence altogether. What is really great about pioneers like Takealot is how they help educate and put into practice the use of everyday internet usage. Yeah, this has indeed opened up people's minds about the online landscape and really made it easier for other online retailers to enter the market. In Kenya, on the other hand, the country has come to be known for its innovative mobile payment system, M-Pesa. M-Pesa has revolutionized the way people transfer money and has become an essential tool for financial inclusion in the country. This was so revolutionary to a third world banking system that other forms of M-Pesa started popping up in different forms all over Africa in different other names. In South Africa, we call it e-wallet. If you're a South African, you might be mistaken to think Takealot is the largest e-commerce platform in Africa, as we normally do with many other things. But that golden medal goes to Jumia from Nigeria. Now, you know you have a unicorn when companies like Naspers, a juggernaut in the online space, decide to throw millions into your venture. But that's what happened to Konga. Nigeria's startup ecosystem has grown significantly in the recent years, and the country has become a hub for tech innovation in the continent. Finally, this beautiful discussion would be incomplete without a look at the social media impact on the continent. One important point to note is the role of social media in these countries. Digging deeper into the impact and power of social media in Africa, we will go down a list of our famous three, starting with South Africa. In South Africa, one notable example is the Fees Must Fall campaign, which began in 2015 and focused on the high cost of tertiary education in the country. The Fees Must Fall movement was largely driven by young people and students who used social media platforms such as Twitter and Facebook to organize protests and mobilize support for their campaign. Kenya will not be left behind in the social media frontier. One glaring example of social media playing a significant role in driving political discourse and change in Kenya is the hashtag Uhuru Hug March campaign, which began in 2017. The hashtag Uhuru Hug March movement was largely driven by an opposition party and its supporters, who used social media platforms such as Twitter and Facebook to organize protests against the results of the presidential election, which they believed were rigged in favor of the incumbent president. Of course, you'd expect the Nigerians not to hold back on social media. And indeed, there have been several instances in Nigeria where social media has played a significant role in driving the public discourse and sparking movements or protests. One notable example is, you'll remember the hashtag Bring Back Our Girls campaign, which began in 2014 and focused on the kidnapping of the 276 schoolgirls by the terrorists Boko Haram. By the way, what happened to Boko Haram? Anyway, the hashtag Bring Back Our Girls movement was largely driven by concerned citizens and activists who used social media platforms such as Twitter and Facebook to raise awareness about the plight of the kidnapped girls and demand action from the government. The success of #BringBackOurGirls campaign demonstrates the power of social media in driving public discourse and bringing the attention of important issues, and has continued to inspire activism and social change in Nigeria and everywhere else across the world. In conclusion, I'll refer to our opening remarks. Can you build a profitable online business in Africa? Is there a big enough market to share? Is the average African user connection worth your investment? In all of this, I'll say absolutely yes. I'll actually tell you, if you wait any longer, the pie will get smaller. Over and above, it's important to remember that the internet has become an essential part of the daily life of many people in Africa. If you are considering starting an online business or investing in some African online venture, go right ahead. The pie is getting smaller. This is Iconia Insights, a show we put together to help you start and grow a successful online business.
Big lights and bright colors.
Are you looking to create high-quality videos without the hassle of editing and online submissions?
Look no further. Our studio provides a one-stop solution for all your video needs.
Our video and YouTube content creation studio in Fourways, Johannesburg, offers a stress-free solution for creating high-quality videos.
Big dreams to take over the world.
You just come in, talk through our teleprompter, and our experienced video editors will take care of the rest. And yes, we can even help you write the perfect script and create your content.
Take over the world.
Visit iconia.co/video now and find all details in the link below.
This session was brought to you by Iconia Video Production and Editing Studio.